I used to think my grandma Aurora was an open book, filled with stories that spilled out like the sunlight through her kitchen window. Her laughter was like a gentle breeze, warm and inviting, wrapping around me as I sat at the table, watching her move gracefully, her hands a flurry of activity as she prepared our favorite meals. Her blue eyes, as bright as a summer sky, held a depth that seemed to echo with wisdom and love, and I felt safe in her presence, cocooned in the warmth of her affection. Every Sunday, we would gather around that same table, the aroma of freshly baked bread mingling with tales of her youth. She spoke of simpler times, of family gatherings, and the soft hum of life in a small town that seemed untouched by the world outside. But there were shadows in her stories, moments where her gaze would drift, and a knowing smile would touch her lips, as if she held secrets too precious to share. I often wondered what lay behind those eyes, what memories danced just out of reach. After Grandma Aurora passed, I felt a profound emptiness. It was as if the sun had set on a piece of my heart. In my grief, I felt myself drawn to the attic, a place I had always associated with the echoes of her laughter and the remnants of her life. Dust motes floated lazily in the dim light, and I could almost hear her voice, guiding me, telling me to explore, to remember. It was there, amidst the forgotten treasures and old trunks, that I stumbled upon a wooden box, its surface worn and polished by time. As I carefully lifted the lid, a wave of nostalgia washed over me. Inside, nestled among yellowed letters and delicate lace, was a leather-bound diary. The cover was cracked, the edges frayed, and the scent of aged paper wafted up, carrying with it a whisper of the past. My heart raced as I brushed my fingers over the faded ink, the delicate script dancing before my eyes like the flutter of wings. I felt an inexplicable pull, as if the diary held the very essence of Grandma Aurora, waiting to reveal the hidden corners of her life. With trembling hands, I opened the diary, and as I began to read, I was swept into a world that felt both familiar and foreign. Each page was a window into her soul, capturing moments of joy and sorrow, laughter and tears. I learned of a forbidden love that had blossomed during wartime, a love that defied the odds and challenged the very fabric of her existence. My heart ached as I realized the sacrifices she had made, the choices that had shaped her life in ways I had never imagined. In those pages, I discovered that behind her warm smile lay a story woven with complexity and resilience. She had lived through a time of upheaval, where hope flickered like a candle in the dark, and every word I read seemed to resonate with the struggles and triumphs of those who came before me. Grandma Aurora had carried these secrets, these legacies with grace, and now they were entrusted to me. The realization struck me like a sudden gust of wind. Grandma Aurora was not just the gentle soul I had always known. She was a woman of strength, a keeper of dreams and heartaches that spanned generations. The diary was more than just a collection of thoughts. It was a testament to love's enduring power, a reminder that our histories are intertwined in ways we may not fully comprehend. As I closed the diary, a sense of reverent anticipation enveloped me. I understood that this discovery was not just about uncovering the past. It was about embracing the legacy she had left behind. Each word, each secret, with a thread connecting me to her, to the sacrifices she had made, and to the love that still echoed through the corridors of my heart. If you'd like to walk this path with me, to explore the depths of Grandma Aurora's inner world, I invite you to stay close. Together, we will uncover the powerful secrets that shaped her life, and in doing so, find the threads that bind us all across generations. In the soft glow of late afternoon sun, Willow Creek rested in a tranquil embrace, the kind of peace that felt woven into the very fabric of life itself. The gentle rustle of leaves whispered secrets to the breeze as children laughed and played along the dirt roads, their carefree spirits a testament to a simpler time. Fields stretched out in vibrant hues of green and gold, while the scent of freshly turned earth mixed with the sweet aroma of wildflowers dancing along the edges of the farm. This was the world where young Aurora had grown, a place where the beauty of nature wrapped around her like a comforting shawl. Aurora, with her auburn curls cascading around her shoulders, was a girl of quiet wonder. She often found herself lost in the pages of books beneath the sprawling branches of the old oak tree, if shade a sanctuary from the sun. Each story transported her to distant lands, filling her heart with dreams of adventure and exploration. Yet in the peaceful rhythms of her small town, there lingered a gentle yearning within her, a whisper of longing for something beyond the horizon, something she could not quite name. Her family was the anchor in her life, grounding her with love and laughter. Her parents, steadfast farmers, toiled together under the sun, their hands weathered yet strong from years of nurturing the land. They shared stories during meals, their voices mingling with the clinking of silverware and the warmth of a shared hearth. Aurora often watched her father's eyes light up when he spoke of the harvest, and her mother's laughter was like music, filling their home with joy. In those moments, Aurora felt a deep sense of belonging, even as the restlessness within her stirred. Then there was Thomas, her older brother, whose dreams soared higher than the clouds. With every scrap of newspaper he collected on aviation, his eyes sparkled with ambition. He would often take her to the fields, where they would lie on their backs, watching a sky as he pointed out the shapes of clouds and talked about the planes he longed to fly. "One day, I'll be up there, Aurora, flying where the world is wide and free," he would say. And Aurora would smile, her heart swelling with pride and a hint of envy. She wanted to feel that freedom too, to escape the familiar and discover the unknown. Lily, her younger sister, was a tender soul with a poetic heart. She would sit by the window, scribbling verses about the beauty of the world or the gentle flow of the creek that wound through their property. Aurora admired Lily's ability to capture emotions in words, a talent that seemed to flow effortlessly from her heart. They would often share their dreams at night, lying side by side in their shared room, whispering hopes and fears beneath the blanket of stars that twinkled like diamonds across the sky. Days in Willow Creek were marked by the rhythm of the seasons, each one bringing its own melody. In spring, the air would be filled with the sweet scent of blooming blossoms, as they helped their parents in the fields, planting seeds that would one day become their sustenance. Summer days was spent swimming in the cool waters of the creek, their laughter echoing in the stillness, while autumn brought the harvest, with its golden bounty and shared meals that felt like a celebration of life itself. Winter, with its blanket of snow, turned the world into a wonderland, and they would huddle by the fire, sharing stories that danced like the flames. Yet, beneath this idyllic surface, Aurora felt a subtle pull, an awareness of the world beyond their little town. As she watched the evening sun put below the horizon, painting the sky in shades of orange and purple, she often found herself staring into the distance, wondering about the lives of those who lived beyond the hills. What stories did they hold? What dreams did they chase? There was a quiet ache within her, a sense that her life, while beautiful, was somehow incomplete, as if a piece of her soul was searching for a place to belong. As the seasons turned, whispers of change began to flutter in the air. The news from the outside world trickled in, tales of unrest and uncertainty that seeped into the conversations at the dinner table. Her parents would exchange worried glances, their voices low as they spoke of distant lands embroiled in conflict. Aurora listened, her heart heavy with the weight of those words. She could sense the tension in the air, a foreboding that crept into their lives like shadows stretching across the fields at dusk. One evening, as Aurora sat on the porch, the fireflies flickering around her like tiny stars, she caught a glimpse of her mother's face, lined with worry. It was a fleeting moment, but it pierced through the warmth of the summer night, revealing the burdens her parents carried. "What lies beyond, Amma?" she dared to ask, her voice a soft whisper against the backdrop of crickets chirping. Her mother paused, the weight of Aurora's question hanging in the air. "There is much we cannot control, my dear," she replied, her eyes reflecting the flickering light. "But remember, love and family are our greatest treasures. They will guide you, no matter what." Aurora nodded, her heart both comforted and troubled. The world outside felt vast and unpredictable, yet she clung to the warmth of her family, the love that enveloped her like a protective shield. But deep down, a flicker of restlessness remained, a quiet yearning that intertwined with her dreams. As the days grew shorter and the air crisper, Aurora could sense that change was on the horizon, bringing with it the promise of upheaval. The innocence of her childhood days was beginning to fade, and with it, a chapter of her life that would forever alter the course of her family story. Little did she know that the secrets hidden in the depths of her grandmother's diary would soon unravel the threads of their lives, revealing complexities and challenges that spanned generations. In the heart of Willow Creek, beneath the surface of everyday life, lay the beginnings of a tale woven with love, sacrifice, and the undeniable pull of destiny. Aurora's journey was just beginning, and as she closed her eyes each night, she felt the weight of the world pressing against her dreams, a gentle reminder that the paths they walked were intertwined in ways they had yet to understand. As the golden light of late afternoon spilled across the fields of Willow Creek, the new tension began to weave itself into the fabric of daily life. The soft sounds of laughter and the sweet songs of birds were still present, but they now mingled with something darker, a low hum of uncertainty that crept in like a shadow. The radio crackled to life in the corner of the kitchen, its voice a distant echo of events far beyond their serene town. News of a world at war, of battles raging and lives lost, filtered through the air like an unwelcome guest, stirring a restlessness within Aurora that she could no longer ignore. Her family gathered round the table, the scent of fresh bread and the warmth of home providing a stark contrast to the chilling reports. Her father's brow furrowed as he listened, his hands gripping the edge of the table. "It's happening over there, but it can't touch us," he reassured them, though his voice held a tremor that betrayed his concern. Her mother exchanged worried glances with her husband, the lines on her face deepening as she considered the implications for their children, for their way of life. Aurora felt the weight of her parents' fears, but there was something else stirring within her, a yearning for understanding, a desire for more than the sheltered existence she had always known. As the whispers grew louder at the market, where neighbors exchanged anxious glances and hushed conversations, she found herself questioning everything she had believed about safety and justice. The world outside was shifting, and with it, so was she. She wandered through the field one afternoon, the sun casting long shadows as she considered the tales of heroism and sacrifice she had once romanticized. The stories of brave soldiers and noble causes now felt heavy with consequence. What did it mean to fight for a cause? What was worth sacrificing? The wildflowers swayed gently in the breeze, but their beauty felt like a fleeting moment, a stark contrast to the growing darkness beyond the horizon. Then one fateful day, as she returned from the stream with her skirt damp and her heart racing, she saw him. Elias stood by the old oak tree, a figure so strikingly different from the boys she had grown up with. In his crisp uniform, he radiated a sense of purpose that intrigued her. His posture was straight, his eyes sharp and knowing, as if he carried the weight of the world on his shoulders. When their gazes met, a jolt of electricity passed between them, igniting a spark of curiosity that pulled her closer despite the wariness that lingered in her heart. "Is this your favorite spot?" he asked, his voice warm yet laced with an edge of uncertainty. Aurora nodded, surprised by the way her heart fluttered at the sound of his words. They spoke of the beauty of the day, of the changing seasons, but unspoken questions hung in the air, thickening the atmosphere around them. What had brought him to Willow Creek? What secrets lay hidden behind those piercing eyes? As the days turned into weeks, Elias became a fixture in her life, often appearing at the edges of her world, like a character from a story she had yet to fully grasp. They would share stolen moments beneath the oak tree, where laughter mingled with the wind, and the weight of the outside world felt just a little lighter. Yet, with each encounter, Aurora sensed an undercurrent of unease. Elias's laughter sometimes faltered, his gaze drifting to the horizon, as if he were haunted by shadows she could not see. Her family's reactions to the war continued to sift as well. Thomas, her younger brother, spoke of adventure, his eyes alight with dreams of heroism. "I want to enlist when I'm old enough," he declared one evening, enthusiasm bubbling in his voice. Aurora felt a pang in her chest at the thought of him leaving, of venturing into unknown dangers. Her parents exchanged worried looks, their protective instincts clashing with their desire to let their children forge their own paths. Aurora's heart grew heavy with the realization that the world she had known was slipping through her fingers. She began to question her own dreams, her own place in this unfolding narrative. Was it enough to simply dream of love and beauty when there were battles raging beyond the hills? Could she remain untouched by the chaos that threatened to engulf them all? One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, Aurora found herself alone with Elias by the stream. The air was thick with unspoken words, and she dared to break his silence. "What is it like out there?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Elias looked at her, his expression shifting, revealing a glimpse of the burden he carried. "It's complicated," he said finally, his voice low and serious. "There are things I can't tell you, things I wish I could forget." The weight of his words hung between them, and Aurora felt her heart race, caught between the allure of his mystery and the fear of the unknown. As the days turned into nights filled with worry and anticipation, she couldn't shake the feeling that Elias was a harbinger of change, a catalyst for choices that would alter the course of her life forever. The world outside was encroaching, and with it came the realization that innocence could only last so long. Love, sacrifice, and the weight of the choices ahead loomed large, intertwining with the very fabric of her existence. In the quiet moments shared beneath the stars, Aurora could sense that her connection with Elias was something profound, yet perilous. Each laugh they shared, each shared glance, was a reminder that the world around them was shifting, and the life they had known would soon be irrevocably changed. As she held on to the fleeting joy of those moments, she couldn't ignore the whispers of fate drawing them closer together, entwining their lives in ways neither of them could fully comprehend. With the distant echoes of war looming ever closer, the heart of Willow Creek beat an anxious rhythm, mirroring the turmoil within Aurora. She was on the precipice of something transformative, caught between the tender threads of love and the harsh realities of a world at war, where every choice could lead to unforeseen consequences. The air was thick with tension as Aurora made her way through the narrow paths of Willow Creek, the familiar sights now cloaked in an unsettling quiet. The chirping of the birds felt muted, and the rustling leaves whispered secrets she dared not acknowledge. She was drawn to the old oak tree, the place where she'd first met Elias, her heart racing at the thought of seeing him again. Each step felt like a leap into the unknown, her mind swirling with the weight of their last encounter. When she reached the tree, her breath caught in her throat. Elias was already there, his figure silhouetted against the fading light. The moment their eyes met, the world around them seemed to fade away. There was a tenderness in his gaze, a vulnerability that mirrored her own. "I was afraid you wouldn't come," he confessed, his voice low and warm. "I had to," she replied, stepping closer, the distance between them shrinking with every heartbeat. "I need to understand." He took her hands in his, and for a moment, the chaos of the outside world melted away. "There's so much you don't know about me, Aurora," he said, his voice trembling slightly. "I'm not who you think I am." The gravity of his words hung in the air, and Aurora felt her heart race anew. "What do you mean?" she asked, her curiosity piqued. Elias hesitated, searching her eyes for a flicker of understanding. "I'm a German scientist, a deserter. I fled my regiment because I couldn't bear the thought of contributing to the horror," he confessed, his voice thick with emotion. "My mission is to find an encryption device, an artifact that could change everything if it falls into the wrong hands. I can't let that happen." Aurora's mind raced. The weight of his revelation settled heavily on her shoulders. But why here? Why tell me?" "Because I need your help," he said, his gaze unwavering. "I believe my mentor, a clockmaker, left clues to its location. I can't do this alone, and I trust you." Her heart pounded in her chest, torn between fear and a fierce desire to stand beside him. "What if they find out?" she whispered, glancing around, the shadows seeming to deepen. The threat of the Nazi agents lurking in Willow Creek loomed larger in her mind, their presence a dark cloud over her thoughts. "Then we'll have to be careful. They've infiltrated this town, disguising themselves as civilians."
Elias warned, his voice urgent. I've seen them watching, and I fear they are close. The weight of his predicament pressed down on her, yet something ignited within Aurora. She had spent her life sheltered from the harsh realities of the world, but now she felt an undeniable pull toward the danger that surrounded them. Tell me what to do, she said, her voice steady. Elias smiled, a flash of gratitude and admiration lighting up his face. We need to decipher the clues. The clockmaker hid the artifact beneath the old church, but we must find the entrance first. It's hidden within history, layered beneath the town's past. As they began to piece together the clues, Aurora felt her resolve strengthen. They spent hours beneath the oak, the soft glow of twilight wrapping around them like a protective blanket. Every shared glance, every whispered word brought them closer, turning fear into a shared purpose. Aurora felt alive, the thrill of adventure pulsing through her veins, overriding the fear that crept in the corners of her mind. Yet, as they traced the clockmaker's notes, the reality of their situation pressed heavily upon her heart. The diary, once her place of solace, became a confidant of her fears. She wrote late into the night, capturing the turmoil within her. I fear for Elias and for my family. The world outside is changing too quickly, and I am no longer just an observer.
I am entwined in this fight. Days turned into weeks, and with each secret meeting, their bond deepened. Aurora found herself enchanted not only by Elias's bravery, but the quiet moments they shared, laughter blooming in the midst of chaos. But as the shadows of war encroached on Willow Creek, they felt the tension rising. The whispers of fear grew louder, the community's pulse quickening with suspicion. One evening, as they pored over the clockmaker's schematics, Aurora glanced outside and spotted figures lurking near the church. Her heart dropped. Elias, we're being watched, she warned, her voice barely a whisper. He turned sharply, his expression shifting from determination to concern. We need to move now. They slipped away from the oak and made their way toward the church, the darkness around them closing in like a shroud. Their hearts raced in unison, the thrill of danger mingling with the warmth of their connection. As they approached the old building, Aurora felt a sense of purpose igniting her spirit. This was no longer just about love. It was about courage, about fighting for a future they both believed in. Inside, the church was cloaked in shadows, the air thick with dust and age. Aurora clutched Elias's hand tightly, their presence a beacon of hope amid the encroaching darkness. Together, they navigated the labyrinthine passages, the echoes of their footsteps reverberating ominously through the stone walls. As they reached a hidden trapdoor marked in the clockmaker's notes, Aurora's heart raced with anticipation. This is it, she breathed, a mix of fear and exhilaration coursing through her. This is where it all changes. Elias nodded, determination etched in his features. We'll find it, Aurora. Together. With a swift motion, they opened the trapdoor, revealing a narrow staircase leading down into the depths below. The air was cool and damp, the darkness wrapping around them like a cloak. With each step they took into the unknown, Aurora felt the weight of her choices pressing upon her. This was a moment of transformation, a leap into a future she could scarcely imagine. In the bowels of the church, amid the secrets of the past, Aurora and Elias stood on the brink of their destiny, love and danger intertwined in a dance as old as time. The world above may be filled with chaos, but down here, in the quiet shadows, they were determined to forge their own path. As they descended into the depths, Aurora clutched her diary tightly to her chest, the words within serving as her anchor, a testament to the courage she had found along the way. In that moment, she realized that she was not just a participant in this unfolding drama. She was a force to be reckoned with, ready to embrace whatever lay ahead with Elias by her side. The stakes had never been higher, and the future was uncertain. But together, they would face the darkness, driven by love and the hope of a brighter tomorrow. The air in the hidden chamber beneath the old church was thick with musty dust, the kind that clung to your lungs and whispered of secrets long buried. Shadows danced along the stone walls, illuminated only by the flickering light of their lantern. Aurora could feel the weight of history in the very stones around her. She and Elias stood together, their hands brushing against the intricately carved wooden chest that had been hidden from the world, a testament to the ingenuity of the clockmaker who had left them these clues. Elias's heart raced, a mix of excitement and fear coursing through him as he fumbled with the delicate locks, each click echoing like a heartbeat in the silence. This is it, Aurora, he breathed, his voice barely above a whisper. Everything we've risked, everything we've fought for, it's all here.
The anticipation hung between them, electric and palpable. As the final lock clicked open, the lid creaked, revealing the artifact nestled within, its metallic surface glinting in the weak light. Aurora's breath caught in her throat. This was no ordinary object. It pulsed with a stealth purpose, a promise of change that felt both exhilarating and terrifying.
The world outside continued to spin, but she was anchored to a spot, caught in the riptide of grief. The sunlight streaming through her window felt almost mocking, illuminating her solitude and the ache of loss that settled over her like a shroud. As days turned into weeks, Aurora began to notice the subtle changes in her surroundings. Shadows danced in the corners of her vision, and the whispers of the trees outside seemed to carry secrets of their own. She felt the weight of something much larger than herself, a dark presence that lurked just beyond her understanding. Each passing moment reminded her of Elias, and with every memory, the resolve in her heart began to flicker. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, she opened the diary again. With trembling hands, she turned to the last entry Elias had written. The words were scrawled hastily, a mixture of fear and determination. He had spoken of the artifact, of its power, and of the danger it posed if it fell into the wrong hands. A coded message buried within the lines caught her attention, igniting a spark of purpose within her. This was Elias's voice, guiding her even in death, urging her to continue the fight he could not finish. The next day, she found herself drawn to the local library, a dusty sanctuary filled with the scent of old paper and leather. She wandered through the aisles, searching for clues that might lead her to understand the artifact's true nature. Each book was a portal, a glimpse into the past that connected her to Elias. She spent hours rifling through maps and notes, losing herself in the pages, the world outside fading into a distant hum. In the quiet moments, when she returned home, she would slip into Elias's room, now a shrine to the memories they had shared. The walls were lined with his sketches, remnants of a boy who dreamed of adventure and freedom. She traced her fingers over the maps he had drawn, feeling the pulse of his spirit in the air. Each note she uncovered was a piece of him, a reminder that he was still with her, urging her forward. With every passing day, Aurora felt the fragile threads of grief begin to weave into something new. The heartache was still there, a constant companion, but alongside it grew a determination she had never known. She was not just a girl who had lost her love. She was the keeper of his legacy, the protector of his memory. The artifact, once a burden, began to transform into a mission. It was a spark, small but powerful, igniting a fire within her that would not be extinguished. The path ahead was uncertain, but she was no longer adrift. Aurora stood at the precipice of change, her heart heavy with sadness, yet buoyed by a newfound purpose. She would honor Elias, not through revenge, but by uncovering the truth he had sought. The world was a dark place, but she would carry the light of his memory with her, forging a way through the shadows. She was ready to step into the unknown, to embrace the silence of loss, and transform it into a quiet strength that would guide her in the days to come. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows over the streets of her new city, Aurora felt the weight of her decision settle heavily on her shoulders. Leaving Willow Creek was not merely an act of escape. It was a necessary sacrifice for survival. The familiar sights of her small hometown, the creaking porch of Grandma Aurora's house, the rustle of leaves in the old oak tree, now felt like echoes of the past she could no longer embrace. Here, in this bustling unfamiliarity, she hoped to find anonymity and safety, but the specter of her loss loomed large. She settled into a modest apartment, its walls bare and cold, a stark contrast to the warmth of her grandmother's home. Each creak of the floorboards seemed to whisper secrets of the past, reminding her of the love and sacrifice that had led her to this moment. Alone in Nifin-Eustace, Aurora opened the tattered diary left behind by Elias, his words a lifeline tethering her to the mission she had chosen to undertake. Days turned into weeks as she immersed herself in the depths of libraries and archives, poring over books that spoke of codes, hidden messages, and the art of espionage. The artifact, once a burdensome reminder of her heartache, transformed into a focal point of her studies. She learned that it held powers beyond her initial understanding. It was not merely an encryption device, but a potent intelligence tool capable of deciphering enemy codes and predicting their moves. With each page she turned, he felt the flicker of hope igniting within her. She was no longer a mere girl in mourning, but a determined guardian of a powerful secret. In the dim light of her apartment, Aurora set to work. The first evening, she laid out scraps of paper, filled with hastily scrawled symbols and numbers, her fingers tracing the patterns, as if they could unlock the hidden truths contained within. She spent hours decoding messages, her brow furrowed in concentration, heart racing with the thrill of discovery. As she pieced together fragments of information, she felt a surge of confidence wash over her. Each success was a tribute to Elias, a silent promise that she would not let his sacrifice be in vain. As the weeks passed, Aurora honed her skills in observation and discretion. She practiced blending into the bustling crowds, becoming a shadow among shadows, a whisper lost in the urban noise. She learned to navigate the city's underbelly, gathering information discreetly, her heart pounding with the exhilaration of her new identity. It was in the bustling market, amidst the vibrant colors and lively chatter, that she first noticed a figure watching her from a distance. A chill ran down her spine as she recognized the look of someone who did not belong. Her instincts kicked in, and she slipped away, heart racing, blending into the throng of shoppers, determined not to be seen. The loneliness of this secret life weighed heavily on her, often threatening to pull her under the tide of her grief. There were nights when she curled up on the cold floor, clutching Elias's diary, tears strewing down her face as she remembered his laughter, the warmth of his embrace. But each time despair threatened to engulf her, she recalled the urgency of her mission, the need to uncover the truth behind the artifact, to honor Elias's memory, and to keep the knowledge out of enemy hands. This resolve forged a resilience within her, a quiet strength that pushed her to rise each day, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. In the midst of her studies, Aurora encountered others who shared her cause, people who understood the stakes of the war and the importance of hidden knowledge. They were spies and scholars, each with their own stories of loss and resolve. They taught her to move with purpose, to listen more than she spoke, to capture the essence of conversations laden with meaning. She learned to discern the subtlest shifts in tone, to recognize the signs of deceit, and to gather intelligence like a spider weaving a web. Each lesson transformed her, shaping her into a self-taught spy, a protector of secrets. One evening, as the city bathed in the soft glow of streetlights, Aurora found herself in a small cafe, tucked away in a quiet corner. She sat with her notebook, scribbling notes from a conversation she had overheard between two men at the next table. They spoke in hushed tones, their laughter tinged with an undercurrent of danger. Instinctively, she reached for the necklace around her neck, the artifact hidden beneath her blouse, a comforting weight reminding her of her purpose. Suddenly, she felt the familiar prickle at the back of her neck, the sensation of being watched. Glancing up, she locked eyes with a figure standing by the door, his expression unreadable, but something about him made her heart race. In that instant, she realized the threat was closer than she had anticipated. With a steady breath, Aurora feigned nonchalance, turning her attention back to her notes. But her mind raced, heart thudding in her chest. She calculated her exit, the routes she could take, the potential dangers lurking in the shadows. As she rose, she slipped the artifact into her pocket, a silent vow echoing in her heart. She would protect it no matter the cost. Stepping out into the cool night air, she felt the pulse of the city envelop her, a constant reminder of the stakes at play. The danger was palpable, but so was her determination. Aurora was not merely surviving, she was becoming a force to be reckoned with. Each step she took was a testament to her evolution, a quiet rebellion against the grief that once threatened to swallow her whole. She was a guardian now, armed with knowledge and resilience, ready to face whatever lay ahead. In her heart, she carried Elias's memory, his love, and the hope that one day the truth would illuminate the darkness surrounding them all. As the war raged on, Aurora found herself increasingly entwined in a web of secrecy and purpose. The artifact, once a heavy reminder of loss, became a beacon of hope and a tool of resistance. She learned to decode messages, each letter revealing the enemy's plans, and deeply revelation, she felt the weight of responsibility settle upon her shoulders. Aurora had transformed into a silent guardian of her community. Using the knowledge she gleaned, to thwart enemy advancements and protect those she loved. The tension in those days was palpable. Every knock on her door could signal danger. Yet, amidst the fear, there were moments of quiet triumph. One evening, after deciphering a crucial message regarding an impending attack, she shared the intelligence with the resistance group she had quietly joined. The plan was put into action. And as the enemy forces were caught off guard, Aurora felt a rush of exhilaration. Each small victory fueled her determination, reminding her of the sacrifice Elias had made for her. As the months wore on and the tides of war began to shift, the world outside her window transformed. The sounds of gunfire and the echoes of despair were gradually replaced by whispers of hope and the distant laughter of children. The day the news of the war's end reached her was surreal. Aurora stood by her window, watching as people flooded the streets, tears of joy mingling with the remnants of grief. There was relief, exhaustion, and a bittersweet sense of victory. She felt a deep internal fulfillment, knowing that her efforts had contributed to this moment of peace. Yet, as he celebrated, a complex tapestry of emotions washed over her. The joy of victory was intertwined with the pain of loss, and the weight of the artifact she had carried transformed into a cherished relic of love and sacrifice. Aurora carefully placed it inside a delicate mythic box, its melody serving as a reminder of Elias's enduring spirit. In those gentle notes, she found solace, a connection to the past that would forever guide her. With the war behind her, Aurora sought a return to simplicity. She moved back to Willow Creek, a place that held echoes of her childhood and the warmth of cherished memories. The town had changed, yet it also remained a sanctuary, a canvas for her new purpose. She poured her energy into helping others who had been affected by the war, offering support to families who had lost loved ones, teaching children who had been deprived of education, and fostering a sense of community that had been shattered. As she engaged with her neighbors, Aurora became a pillar of strength. She hosted gatherings where the townsfolk could share their stories, heal their wounds, and celebrate their resilience. Her home, filled with laughter and the aroma of freshly baked bread, became a refuge, a place where the burdens of the past could be laid down, if only for a moment. The music box, placed prominently on her mantel, served as a reminder not only of her own journey, but also of the collective strength that had emerged from the ashes of conflict. Years passed, and Aurora blossomed into the wise, serene grandmother that the narrator would one day know. Her hair, touched by silver, framed her face, and her eyes sparkled with the wisdom of experience. She had transformed her pain into compassion, nurturing a spirit of kindness that enveloped all who entered her life. Children gravitated toward her, captivated by the stories she wove, tales of bravery, love, and the importance of standing up for what is right. In those evenings spent around the fireplace, the narrator listened intently as Aurora shared her past, the diary now a bridge connecting generations. Each revelation peeled back layers of Aurora's seemingly simple life, exposing the extraordinary courage and resilience that shaped her. The narrator began to understand that the quiet strength she admired in her grandmother was forged in the fires of sacrifice and love. As Aurora recounted her experiences, she spoke with a gentle reverence for Elias, her lost love, whose memory lingered like a soft whisper in her heart. The artifact was no longer a burden. It had become a cherished symbol of their shared dreams and the bittersweet reality of their choices. Aurora's life was a testament to the power of love, not just in its triumphs, but in its sacrifices, and she imparted this wisdom to her family, encouraging them to embrace both the light and the shadows of their own histories. In the stillness of the night, as the stars twinkled above the quiet town of Willow Creek, Aurora felt a profound sense of peace. She had woven her past into the fabric of her present, transforming the pain of her losses into a legacy of hope and resilience. The shadows of war had receded, but the lessons learned remained etched in her heart. She understood that true strength lies not in forgetting, but in remembering, honoring those who had walked alongside her and those who had paved the way for a brighter future. As the narrator reflects on Grandma Aurora's hidden diary, a newfound appreciation blossoms. The seemingly ordinary life she led belied the extraordinary experiences that molded her into the woman she had become. In her grandmother's eyes, the narrator sees the echoes of a brave spirit, a testament to the power of love, sacrifice, and the unyielding hope that can emerge from even the darkest of times. Aurora's journey, marked by courage and compassion, continues to inspire, reminding all who hear her stories that from the depths of despair, a life of purpose can emerge, a legacy not just of survival, but of unwavering love. As I sat quietly in the dim light of my living room, the familiar scent of aged paper wafted through the air, wrapping around me like a comforting embrace. The diary lay open on my lap, its pages yellowed with time, each word a bridge to the past, a past that belonged to Grandma Aurora. The stories she penned, once mere fragments of her life, now unfolded before me like a rich tapestry, revealing the intricate patterns of her soul. I remember the nights as a child when Grandma would gather us around her, her voice a soothing balm, spinning tales of brave knights and enchanted forests. Back then, they felt like simple fairy tales, filled with whimsical characters and fantastical adventures. Yet now, each story resonated with an echo of her extraordinary courage, reflecting the battles she had fought not just in the physical realm, but in the depths of her spirit. The lessons hidden within those tales blossomed into a deeper understanding of who she truly was, a woman shaped by resilience, fear, and love. As I turned the fragile pages, I was struck by the realization that the diary was not just a collection of memories, but a window into Aurora's heart. Her words were alive, pulsating with her hopes and fears, revealing a woman who grappled with the weight of her decisions. The artifacts of her life, the sacrifices she made, were not merely relics of a troubled past, but powerful symbols of love and the relentless pursuit of justice. Each entry painted a vivid picture of her determination amidst chaos, her quiet strength serving as a guiding light through the darkest times. I began to see the parallels between her struggles and my own, the challenges I faced in my life, moments of doubt, the fear of failure, the desire to make a difference, mirrored the tumult she endured. Aurora had transformed her pain into purpose, and as I reflected on her legacy, I felt a flicker of hope ignite within me. Her story became a source of inspiration, urging me to confront my own adversities with the same bravery she had exemplified. I realized that the wisdom she imparted through those stories was not just about overcoming obstacles, but embracing the journey, however fraught it might be. The diary, with its delicate script, became my treasured guide, illuminating the path forward. Each word resonated within me, whispering reminders of the importance of love, connection, and resilience. I understood now that her legacy transcended the secrets and artifacts she left behind. It was rooted in the quiet moments of grace that she shared with us. A legacy woven through generations, each thread binding us closer together. As I closed the diary, I felt a profound sense of peace settle over me. The shadows of misunderstanding that once clouded my view of Grandma Aurora lifted, replaced by clarity and gratitude. I cherished the notion that her life was not defined by singular choices or moments of weakness, but by the sum of her experiences, each one a stepping stone leading to a life filled with purpose and meaning. In that moment, I was reminded of the importance of uncovering and honoring our hidden stories, just as Aurora had done. Each narrative we carry within us holds the power to inspire, to teach, and to connect. It is through sharing these experiences that we find common ground, a shared humanity that binds us across time and space. Aurora's life became a testament to the strength of the human spirit, a reminder that the legacies we leave behind are not just artifacts, but echoes of love, courage, and wisdom that continue to resonate in the hearts of those who follow. As I reflected on this newfound understanding, I felt a gentle call to share her story with others. In sharing, I can honor her memory and inspire those around me to embrace their own journeys, to recognize the strength within themselves that often lies dormant, waiting for the right moment to emerge. I envisioned future gatherings where I would share Grandma Aurora's tales, weaving her wisdom into the fabric of our family's narrative, ensuring that her legacy would continue to thrive in the hearts of generations to come. The diary, once a simple artifact of the past, had transformed into a powerful symbol of connection and continuity. I held it close, feeling its weight and the love it embodied. I realized that Grandma Aurora was not a criminal, but a hero in her own right, a guardian of hope,
a beacon of resilience whose life story would forever illuminate my path. With every turn of the page, I embrace the richness and complexity of life, understanding that from our struggles can emerge a profound sense of purpose and love that transcends time. In the end, it was not just about discovering who Grandma Aurora was, but about discovering who I could be through her example. The legacy she left behind was not a burden, but a gift, urging me to live fully, love deeply, and to always seek the light in the shadows. With this realization, I stood ready to honor her story, to let it guide me as I navigated my own life, forever grateful for the treasure she had bestowed upon me. A diary that would continue to inspire, uplift, and connect us across the generations. In the quiet corners of Willow Creek, a legacy quietly unfolded, woven through the pages of a diary that once seemed a burden, but became a beacon of hope. Aurora, standing at the crossroads of her own life, discovered that courage is not just a trait, it's a testament to love and resilience. As she turned each page, she unearthed not only her grandmother's struggles, but also her unwavering spirit in times of turmoil. Grandma Aurora's life was a tapestry of trials, triumphs, and sacrifices, each word echoing the silent battles faced by countless souls who came before her. These revelations transformed Aurora. She realized that the weight of the past could be lifted through understanding and compassion. Rather than allowing her grandmother's experiences to fade into obscurity, Aurora embraced them, becoming the guardian of her family's history. The hidden stories of bravery and heartache became her guiding light, teaching her that within every struggle lies the potential for growth and connection. This journey led her to recognize that the essence of her grandmother's life was not solely defined by hardships, but by the love that shone through even the darkest moments. Each lesson learned was a thread that tied her to a deeper understanding of herself and her community. Aurora discovered that by sharing these stories, she could inspire others, reminding them that they too can find strength in vulnerability and hope in despair. As she sought to unite the residents of Willow Creek, she understood that stories have the power to heal. They bridge gaps between generations and foster understanding among diverse hearts. Aurora's mission became clear: to keep her grandmother's spirit alive through acts of kindness, community building, and unwavering support for one another. The diary, once a personal relic, now served as a powerful symbol of resilience, urging all who encountered it to reflect on their own lives and the stories they carry. In sharing her journey, Aurora illuminated the path for others who might feel lost in their struggles. She invited her family and friends to connect with their roots, to honor the sacrifices made by those who came before them, and to cherish the lessons embedded in their shared history. As Aurora spoke of her grandmother's courage, she inspired others to seek their own truths, to confront their fears, and to find solace in community. If Aurora's story touched your heart, know that it has fulfilled its purpose. Stories like hers ripple through time, connecting us all in a shared human experience. They remind us that we are never alone in our battles, and that every act of kindness can create waves of change. So let us take a moment to reflect on our own legacies. If you felt moved by Aurora's journey, please leave a like. Your support echoes the love and resilience found in her story. Subscribe to our channel to hear more heartfelt tales that bind us together through shared experiences. And we invite you to share your thoughts below. What secret do you believe Grandma Aurora held closest to her heart? Your reflections could inspire others to explore the hidden narratives in their own lives, ensuring that the essence of love, courage, and community continues to flourish. In these moments of connection, we'll find the strength to honor the past while paving the way for a brighter future. So let us carry forward the legacy of Grandma Aurora, weaving our stories into the fabric of life, celebrating the bonds that unite us all.